So Fallout 76's next update is here, and it's not like some of the other updates or necessarily what we were expecting. We've seen over the past couple of weeks this update touted in some of those Inside the Vault series of articles, and also on Twitter yesterday they did confirm that there would be some maintenance today and the servers would be down. So Bethesda themselves technically aren't even calling this an update, they're labeling it simply as a hotfix. And this one's weird because it seems like there's almost a level of disconnect with the release of this one. So if you actually look at some of the changes, and there's very few, so it's fairly easy to look at all of them, you will find almost everything that was leaked yesterday, including Korean language support, which you had to download on consoles, and on PC you're only going to download it if you select the Korean language. But even beyond that, they finally fixed exiting to desktop. They also fixed a bug where apparently the client was left in a debug state, so you could connect to servers that were on a newer version of the game than the client was, which as they describe actually broke certain aspects of gameplay, and I'm pretty curious what happened there. I think it'd definitely be interesting to watch the fallout of that discrepancy. Then we also do have the duping exploit getting fixed, as well as an issue that could prevent high damage and explosive weapons from dealing damage, and rather they would just not deal damage or even heal enemies. So as far as the fixes go, it definitely seems like they tackled all of the most prominent of issues out there right now. These were some of the bugs that people were continuously complaining about. But as I mentioned earlier, this is a rather odd update because it seems like some of this came out yesterday, but then not all of it. As I was recording my video yesterday, and this actually got leaked on accident by one of the community managers, then someone quickly posted it on Reddit, everything in this was listed except for that client version mismatch. And for me, starting yesterday on PC, I could exit the game successfully. So at least some of these changes were applied already. Now in the comments of my latest video, numerous people said that a lot of those other bugs, such as the duping bug as well as the explosive weapon bug, still were in the game. So now those are resolved, but either way, it is pretty notable that this is a distinctively shorter update than a lot of the other ones out there right now. This coming off the heels of what I would argue is one of the largest and best updates we got to Fallout 76, that with the December 11th patch. That would bring far more bug fixes and a good amount of quality of life changes, but also it actually implemented a few additional bugs. I made a full video on that if you guys do want to check it out, but actually investigating further on this newest version, the patch notes themselves actually confirm that the exiting glitch was fixed, but even beyond that, the robot army glitch seems to also be gone, or at least while I sat around White Springs for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, no abundance of robots showed up. In the past, we got, well, quite a few. Apparently this robot glitch, in addition to the duping glitch, were causing quite a bit of server instability, so that could be another pretty good byproduct as a result of these two changes. But even beyond that, another controversy that's kind of popped up as a result of these updates is some of the new additions to the Atomic Shop. Many of these were added earlier in the week, and it almost seems random as to when new things are added here. Apparently some of it's on Mondays, but also I think antlers were added with this update. Either way, in a previous video I actually covered how there was a big % discount, and it was kind of scummy or sketchy and potentially illegal in some places because on the day it came out, something was discounted 50%. It was never offered at that full value. The two most egregious of offenders here were actually the emote bundle listed as 50% off and the Santa bundle listed at 33% off. Well, it seems like they stopped doing that with the latest update, indicating that they really had no intentions of ever offering them at the full price to begin with. It truly was just one of those kind of sketchy marketing tactics to list things as heavily discounted to incite more people to buy them. So I definitely appreciate that these discounts, or rather fake discounts, were removed, but at the same time I definitely feel like for a lot of people the damage was done here. And even beyond that, I feel like the community is finally waking up to some of the egregious practices that go on here. Things like a $20 pack for a couple of Santa costumes and icons. That's 1/3 the price of the retail game, which is pretty freaking expensive for a microtransaction. And even beyond that, I would actually say one of the worst examples is this newly released Fat Man skin that is retailing for 1,000 credits. If you actually compare this to some of the skins you saw in Fallout 4's Creation Club, in Fallout 4 you can normally get a couple of skins for like $2 or roughly 200 credits, and it would apply to several different weapons. Now in Fallout 76, obviously this is offsettable by freely earned items, but at the same time 1,000 points for one skin that applies to one weapon is a lot. I've been pretty outspoken about how bad I think the Atomic Shop is and how overpriced everything in it is, but at the end of the day Bethesda has the numbers, and if they're selling things at these price points, maybe they actually are making decent money off of it. As far as files go behind the scenes, we do know several new things are coming to the Atomic Shop, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of Christmas themed things coming. I kind of assumed a lot of that would have got posted today with this most recent update, but it obviously isn't there yet. What we do see are a variety of different costumes. None of this is live just yet, but with Christmas only about a week away, you'd have to imagine it'll come out before then. Bethesda typically releases things on Mondays, so perhaps on Christmas Eve it will make its debut. And the other notable aspect about this patch is it's probably going to be the final one for 2018, and I'd say with 2019, we're probably going to see a bit of a shift with some of the patches. Bethesda has been pretty outspoken that come 2019, some of the DLCs will start coming out for this game. We know already that there's going to be a Vault DLC, there's likely going to be some kind of New Year's event, which seem very likely to involve some of those lunchboxes. But even around the map, you could find a lot of doors that just kind of don't lead anywhere, specifically in the space station, and I have to imagine that will eventually end up being a DLC of some kind. So all in all, maybe not everyone's favorite update, didn't add in a ton of changes, but I feel like some of the changes it did bring to the table were pretty core and good improvements, things the game really needed. At the same time though, there still are several other issues that apparently still exist in the game, such as people not being able to place water purifiers and other bugs that are just still lingering. Although there's just one extra thing I kind of want to include in this video. I've talked about in the past of a trade exploit that apparently exists in Fallout 76 where people can steal items from your inventory. I think I just mentioned it at the end of one video just as kind of a safe warning. If some guy randomly tries to trade with you, avoid that. Well, it's recently come into question as to whether or not that's real, because it seems like there's no evidence of it ever occurring outside of just people typing that it occurred to them. But there's no photos, there's no videos, nothing like that of anyone successfully doing the trade exploit, even with some of the proposed methods of doing it. I haven't attempted to do it myself, but if this actually is fake, that would be pretty hilarious and interesting. Over the past couple of days, there's been this whole controversy around this exploit, people reporting having items missing, while in reality it might not even be a thing. And that also could potentially explain why it wasn't fixed in today's patch, even though in the past Bethesda has mentioned they're investigating it.